Okay, right. Welcome back to what I've decided to call Don't Do It Yourself. So if you were here last time, which you weren't, there are a few patches that need to be fixed in this wall before I can tile it. So I've done a bit of some research with some YouTube videos and of course a little bit of AI help. And one of the things it said is that because I'm tiling, I don't actually want to use plaster. So I'm going to use more of the builder's mix cement to patch up large holes like that, just to get them flat. And of course, where I did the cement last time, which is there, as you can see, it's got a big hole in it still. I may need to grind away that part there just to get a flat finish. But we'll see how we go, and then we'll try and sort out the top of that window there with a layer of stuff as well. Although that might not happen today because from everything that I've been seeing, it does require that there be some level of what is it? Kind of a barrier, of kind of like a frame that the cement can sit in while it creates a square. A square on there a square on the wall to create the window sill. All right, but we'll start as we did last time with a wire brush. Right, so the first thing it says is that I should make sure that I've got as much of the dust and loose stuff off as possible, which of course requires the wire brush. So we'll get started with that. And as there's nobody here, I'm not overly concerned about wasting time, but I'll try not to be too wasteful. But I am going to put some music on for myself, which you won't hear because otherwise I'll get hit with one of those silly stealing people's stuff things, right? Anyway, right. You see a lot of dust. There's a few there on the top of this window. One of these GoPro things right on my head, so you can see what I'm seeing. But what I am busy doing is just getting this stuff off the top here. A little bit of loose brick as well, you see. Yeah. So let me fit you back there. Oh, look at that. Right. So I've got one of these out. All right. Oh, yes. Oh, oh man, guts to something else. All right. Yeah, the funny thing is about these mollusks is it actually becomes easier to breathe one's nose than one's mouth after a while. Right. Okay. As we last on other stuff, I'm not going to focus on this part, right? But one of the things that needs to happen is the plaster bond key. Right? I forgot the tub for it, so give me a moment. Right. So, got an ordinary ice cream bucket here, and what we'll do is we'll pour some of this plaster bond, right? Now, according to the YouTube videos and the AI assistant, which is quite useful for basic questions, especially if you look like a one-on-one kind of just an instructional guide. Of course, don't rely on that. AIs don't always tell the truth, but you know, as long as they're kind of in line with the real life people that are talking on the YouTube channels, hopefully the YouTube channels people are not all trying to trick me. They say that you should put this stuff on first, this bond, which seems to work quite well for the patch that we did last week. But it's also because this brick stuff is apparently really thirsty, so it just absorbs moisture into it, right? And one of the issues with that is that if it absorbs too much of the moisture out of the concrete that I used to patch, then it will create an imbalance in chemical structures, because that's how I understand it, that will result in cracks appearing in the cement, but also that it won't bond properly. Now, I have seen some of these videos where they just use water to serve as the kind of moisture creator and bonder. I suppose, you know, if you're, shall we say, a bit more professional at this than I am, and you've got the experience of what actually is needed, maybe that is one way to go. But you know, as a first timer, it's better just to have as much of the tools that you need as possible. I find, you know, one of the problems with modern DIY work, apart from the fact that all of us have become fucking lazy, we don't want to carry stuff, we don't want to hurt our backs, and we'll have, you know, don't get me wrong, I'm fully on board with that. I don't want to hurt my back either, but you know, power tools can be very, very expensive to have, and so we're trying to do things without getting the right equipment. You see that? See how much it just kind of like absorbed all of that into that brick, right? You see, so I mean, there are parts where that kind of just gets all nice and white, and you know, and then this doesn't have anywhere near the same sort of coloring. And just trying to make sure we've got it properly bonded in here. Right, okay. Yeah, I was saying, so you know, we end up trying to do a job with incorrect tools, and that just really makes doing a job just difficult. You know, I mean, you know, you think, oh, I'll never be able to do this because, you know, and then you actually get the right stuff for it, and you know, you end up finding it not too hard, actually, you know, when you've got the right stuff. Yeah. Oh. You see the difference in the. You see these older bricks. I mean, this clay brick stuff. It's rather crumbly, so it really isn't holding up together all that well. Yeah. Right. So I'm hoping that with the additional concrete in here, it'll also kind of just stabilize this brick because, my goodness, when I was trying to get the tiles off, which I'll tell you, they were on this wall. The other walls that are around, they were painted, and I used an angle grinder to get these lines in it so that when I do the tiling itself, it'll serve as gaps, roughness for the tile bond to go in to kind of adhere to, which I've been told is very important. My neighbour was the first one to give that advice, and then as I did a bit of research into it, noted that was pretty much broad agreement with just about everybody who's doing the tiling. Right, let's get a bit more of this bond. Right. They said that it all needs to be damp, not wet, but one of the things that I really think I need to make sure of is that we've got this kind of white layer, just because I'll be spending a little bit of time mixing the concrete after I've done this. And I want to make damn sure that don't have, because it's going to dry a bit while I'm doing that and absorb it into the brick itself while I'm doing that. And I do not want to end up with a situation where I have concrete falling out of the bloody wall while I'm trying to tile. Right. Tell you one thing that you learn doing this sort of thing, looking at the underbones of your house, when you're actually having a look at it, you realize how, in some situations, some of these builders took a bit of a shortcut or bought slightly cheaper materials, save on costs. Because these bricks, sure, the bricks fine, and together they build a wall, but they crumble so badly. Oh, it's just absorbing this stuff. Right. Okay, right. I think I'm going to need a little more of this stuff. Yeah. And this is the walls. You see, so one of the things that we'll just keep in mind is that the tiles, that's still a few steps away, right? One of the next step will be once I'm happy with these walls, I'll then be screening the floor, right? Which the person who I think I mentioned last time, the person who did the floors just used the same stone, this kind of slate stone, throughout the entire house to save on costs, because any time it's been built, you could buy the stuff for 500 grand a ton, which and so the inside, the outside patios, pretty much everywhere has been done with that stone. It's rather, don't get me wrong, it looks nice in its way for the type of thing that it is, but it's a bit of a heat sink, right? So one of the heat in the house, just worse than tiles, just gets sucked down into it and it just disappears, you end up with this really cold house, which simply makes living a bit unpleasant sometimes, especially in the winter. So we will be over time as we go through replacing the floor throughout, which if I've got nothing better to do with my life like I do now, and have a reasonably stable, uncapped internet connection where I can just live stream my life to the world, because everybody cares so much about what I have to say. Right. Okay, let's, I think that'll do for that. There's just a little bit left. Put a little more in here. A little bit on the top here. We just used up all of the bonder. Right. Now, so what we end up with then, right, is a kind of white damp stain over it, right? And that kind of bonds, hopefully, my understanding is that it'll create a chemical bond that will hold everything in place. And if it works, then yay, we win. If it doesn't work, then, as I said, don't do it yourself. We'll try something else. But as that room is effectively, unimportant, one might say. Well, not important, just not in use. Like I've got an alternative space to use. So, right, let's try and get you lined up a bit. There we go. Right, okay. Now, you remember last time we did this, right? So the last time we did the right. Come on this way, right? So the last time we did this this concrete, right? We used 4 parts of river sand, effectively. They call it builder's sand, 1 part cement, and it comes from where I got the place in a kind of single bag, 40 kilos, so 30 kilos of sand, 10 kilos of cement, or something like that. I think it's actually 4 to, not quite that, but maths. Probably near 8 kilos of sand and 32 kilos of 8 kilos of cement and 32 kilos of sand, and then we've got this jug with water. Now I used this jug last time as well, right? It takes about 2 liters of liquid, right? No, a liter of liquid. Takes a liter of liquid. So what I did was I took 2 of these in the of sand and half of one of cement, and I've got a half here of water, right? Now last time what I did was I just poured the water in to the mixture, and it came out rather sloppy, right? And so I did a bit of research, and they say don't do that because the science with the water is a little bit different from everything else. So it's 4 parts sand, sure, 1 part cement, sure. And then you kind of want to feel it as you go with the water, right? So yeah, right. Now last time as well, right? What I did was I put my leather glove in here, right? And of course, when I was mixing it to test it, I then had to wash the glove afterwards, right? Which is fine, right? Except it's leather. It doesn't like water, right? It's a bit stiff, right? So what I figured was I would use this plastic bag, right? Okay. As the primary mixing tool, right, to do the initial thing, and hopefully keep my glove clean. Then I can just throw this plastic bag away because it's a plastic bag. And all of those people sitting out there going, oh, but recycling. Oh, this is a bit of a pain. Talking about recycling, fair enough. Recycle, fine. You can count this as part one of recycling, as this is its second use. So there we go. Right, let's see. We'll put in a little splash of water. Right. Okay. Mix it up. Now I was told that the sort of consistency I want to get is a kind of stiff mud. All right. All right. A little more. What I might do for these sorts of things going forward is get a trowel, you know, and then use a trowel to do this. Okay. Right. Now, right, need a bit more. The kind of muddy consistency now. Oh, great. I just put my finger right through the damn bag. That's fun. Yeah. A bit like a kind of stiff mud. Stiff mud Play-Doh consistency, right? That's what it said. All right. I think I'm getting close to here. Okay. Right. Okay. The funny thing is, I actually think that may very well serve the purposes we need. What I'll do is I'll leave that there. My hands are going to be filthy anyway now. All right, I'm going to take my plastering trowel and my fork. All right. Oh, God, stuff on my nails. Let me tell you, one of my least favorite things. Never gone for a manicure, but after this I might actually just do that. Right. I'm going to take the water inside as well, and then I'll come back and get the camera. Okay. So as I said, you're basically running this through a webcam on the laptop, which is why the camera work is awful. I will work on that as I go, I think. Yeah, why the hell not? Could be fun. Right. Okay, right. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull you inside a bit. You're currently having some steps, so let me pull you in a bit. Right? Okay. Right. And I'll pop you. I'll pop you a bit up against the wall here so that you can see. Right. Okay. Right. Let's see, what are we looking at now? Right. Go away. Right. Okay. Right. Okay. Right. Okay, so that's what we're going to start on, right? Now, of course, I have already got a filthy hand, so let's see, right? So let's see, this stuff is basically a bit like thick Play-Doh. Now let's see if we can figure this out, huh? Oh, right. Yeah. Learn how to faster. Right, well. Huh. 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 It's sticking. I think that's a perfect job, but see that? That's quite cool, actually. Stick that there. That's it. Interesting. Huh. Right. Okay. Right. Yeah. Whoopsie. I'm obviously not professional at this, and as a result, I end up with bits on the floor. Boy. And of course, when I do that and don't put the thing in its place, then of course I'm going to lose more. Idiot. Not sure that this is right, but that's it. Interesting. Excuse the quietness. This is taking a bit more energy than painting or just wire brushing. No, she's in there. Full of space. Okay, that's a little bit more. One of the issues that I'm having though is you see there's a big gap right there. Right? So, gotta try and fill that. It doesn't have to be, I mean, I think I need at least relatively flat there, I think. Otherwise we end up with a big mess. We don't want a big mess. Ah, come on, you bloody thing. Right. Okay. Hell, it's coming out all right. Hey, there you go. I'm actually quite pleased with how that's coming out. Yeah, I like that. I'm actually very happy with how that's coming out. Yeah. I think there's space to fill up some of this on the edge here. You know, try and get a bit in there. Squish that in there. Right, just to fill these holes in the wall. Right. It doesn't be flush here because what we've got in this crack as well will be a bit of tile adhesive, right, that I can use to fill. But I want to have at least reasonably built up with actual cement for the tile adhesive to latch onto. Right. While keeping it reasonably flat against this wall. Right. Right. Wow. Okay, right now I want to push some of this cement in here because I don't actually want a giant gap as there is at the moment in that corner. What we'll do is I'll use the trowel to create a more angled edge as soon as I'm done just piling this stuff in here. Right. But I can't just have a giant bloody gap in the wall corner there, because that just won't do. All right. Okay. Right. Well, it's all right. Okay. I don't know about you, but I think that looks all right. Now, because I'm going to put tiles on here, I'm going to line some cracks into here with the trowel so that there's something for the adhesive to stick to. All right. But yeah, I think that looks damn good. Right. So let's move over to there. Okay. All right. Okay. Right. Come on. May not have enough cement. But that's maybe not enough for these two. I may not have enough to do them. That's on the bottom of those when I've done it before. I'll come back to that in a minute. So I'll do that at the same time that I do the top windowsill here, top windowsill. We'll see how this goes. Let me just move this big spade out of the way. Okay. Right. I may not have enough water in here. Yeah, maybe the issue. Yeah, pretty much certain I have enough to do the other piece as well. I've got about a handful more of this stuff. Let's get the last of the show. All right. Oh, yeah, that's what I thought. Right. Okay. I mean, it's you know, I'm the professional. It's not the easiest job in the world to get stuff. I don't think I'm doing too badly here. About it when I see you again. Oh, boy, again. About it when I see you again. See you again. Right. When I see you again. Yeah. Oh shit. I mean, for an amateur patch job, I think that's pretty good. I'm going to do some of these last a little bit just on the bottom here. Right. I'll show you what I mean. Right. So you know how it's just a little bit here that I can actually just push into this base here as a starter. Right. Just to use it. Right. Right. Okay. Obviously, it's not going to be. Actually, I thought maybe I was wrong with the mixture, but I mean, it's holding nicely for the most part in there, hey? You know? I mean, there's Just like that, we don't need to be on there, right? We'll do that a bit more. Trial work, right? We had the tile lines, right? But I mean, as a filler for a base wall, especially thinking kind of, as I say, it's going to be tiled over here, right? I think that's in there pretty good, right? And we'll see how it holds. Yeah. What was the time? 10 to 3. Okay. What I'm going to do, right? Because I still let that hold the felt. And a little spot over there I didn't notice before, right? Alright. So what I'm going to do is, there's still a few here, right? Or I could put in some patches along here, right? My understanding is that it must dry slowly, but this is a very cold room, so I don't see the issue with the moisture disappearing too much. But, I guess spray bottle will spray it over the course of the next few days. But I think that I could probably just do another batch of this, right? It might be worth doing another batch of this, right? I don't think I'll need quite as much, maybe half the amount, right? And yeah, might even shove some in down there, see where that big hole is, just as a starter, just to fill the space. Yeah, okay, let's do that. I mean, it's only 3 o'clock, so let's do that. I'm gonna go and get the stuff, right? I'll move you out in a bit. I just want to, I'll carry the laptop down a moment. We'll take that other stuff down, right, that we need, right? Okay, I'll be right back. 13. So listen, before we go down and do all that stuff, right? There are a few spots we just need to dab up with this, right? So what we'll do, right, is we'll pour some of this Bondo into this thing, right? Because there are a few spots, obviously. Everyone will just make sure we have access to. Right, so let's have a look, right? So, starting with, I think, just getting some in there, right? Not that that's going to require some stability, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to shove some concrete down that hole there, right? As a starter, right? Right. Just so that it goes in there and really, I mean, it's just like nothing in there. I don't know how that hole, is even there. Right, okay, so we've got that there, right? Okay, I'm gonna put some on there, right? Okay. Yeah. I mean, that little big hole there, it's about depth there. Yeah. Okay, then we can see the brick directly. Right. Okay. Right, so there's another deep hole. Right, okay. There, also just a hole. Right. Right, okay. That's it. Don't worry about the floor too much. It's going to be screwed in afterwards. Yeah. 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 Let's just fill up some of these dongas. Right. Donga for a non-South African is a deep hole, usually referred to in our road. Now, when you've got a particularly large pothole, which those who buy the internet these days, even you first worlders have difficulties with. But then I suppose when all the money is being spent on ministerial holidays, of course the right. Right. Okay. Right. All right. Okay. Right. A lot of work it went. Yeah, we'll see. But how's about we go down and see what we can do with the cement, huh? Come on. Right. Whew. All right. One advantage of not having any views is that I can learn to do both things at once. Number one, bad camera work. Number two, bad building. Right. One of the advantages also, not advantages, one of the things I must say also is that I am not doing structural work, right? So I'm not building a damp house because I think that would probably be a bit more difficult and require a bit more professionalism, which maybe in time I'll get as I learn how to do this. But we'll see, won't we? Right. Okay. So what we got? Right. 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 Okay. So what we have now, once again, right. This is our builder's mix. Right. So as I said last time, right, we get one. One. Two jugs of my sister's cooking jug, which is no longer a cooking jug, it's now a building jug. Turns out she was a bit annoyed with me. She was using it for dog food, right? So I don't know why she should be as annoyed as she was. Yeah, but it turns out that it was apparently my grandmother's jug. My grandmother used. Right, don't do that. Right, I just took a couple of years of my life there by shoving cement right down my throat in my lungs. Oh god, that's gonna suck for a little while. Oh, if I can feel that. Oh, I've never done that before. Hopefully I'll never do that again. Right. Okay, let's see. That looks alright. Okay. Mix that in there. Right. Right. Oh god, that's sucks. There we go. Right. Okay. And when I bought this bag, they called it Builder's Mix. And it pretty much is that, bag of sand, bag of cement. All you got to do is add water. Yeah. And then you're good to go. So, from here, all right, what I do, oh, damn it. That I'm sure wasn't very pleasant, right? Okay. So now we'll get some water, right, with the same amount of the cement, right? We'll go through the mixing process again. And then back to the wall. Right. There we are. Now, let's make sure we don't spill this whole bloody thing in there. Right, let's go back to the spot where we were. And we'll have ourselves a mixing fest. And yes, I will be putting my plastic bag back over my hand. Not because my hand is really that protected or anything like that, but because, come on, you bastard. I just want to keep out of my nails, which is the main part, and it does do a little bit of protection there. All right.
some of these large sand bits that need to be crushed a bit yet. Right. Step 1. Step 2. A little bit of water. Right. I'll tell you, one of the best buys I made was getting these knee pads. They just make having a bit on the downside trying to get this stuff down just that much less painful. Almost at the consistency that I was at last time, right? Okay. Right. Almost. I think what I do, a bit more water here. Right. In the hope that I start having a bit more kind of mud. Yeah. Oh, well, you know what, it's done. My hands are now just stick plate, that's what they said, right? And I think I'm as close to that as I am likely to get. Yeah. This is about where we were. Right, so I'm going to add a drop more, right? Not too much more. Right. Just to really test the different consistencies. Because this is more like stiff mud. Right? Yeah, you see that? That is much more like stiff mud than the previous lot was. Let me show you, right? The other bit was a bit more sandy, right? Not sandy, but a little less kind of sticky like this, right? So you see, that's kind of sticky, right? And I think that is probably nearer the consistency that I was supposed to get, right, with the last lot. See that? I can stick into the side of the bucket. I think that is where I should have been last time. I'm quite happy with that. Okay, so I'm going to go and just swap this out. All right, I'll put this in and then I'll come back and get you. Now, if I can give you any advice, right? that is, make sure that you have working clothes, right? Because you don't want your good clothing fucked, messed up doing this, right? Also, in terms of mixing cement, right? I encourage you to get a trowel, like just a garden trowel, because it does, especially if you're doing small bits of cement like this, makes it just a little bit easier to manage. And the hand mixing, I can tell you honestly, is not the most fun a person can have. Right. Okay. So, right, we're gonna see. I think that's a good angle for you, right? Now what we're going to do is I'm going to start up here, right, and I'll lift the camera up to the window so once I've filled that to show you. But I'm going to do this, kind of this, and here, and then I will do that hole against the wall as well. All right. All right. Okay. All right. You know what I'm going to do, right, is I'm going to just put some of this on stuff on this windowsill. Right. I'll test it, how it goes, before I put any towel on to see what it's like. If necessary, I'll chip it off again and go again. Right. But let's try and see what happens after I have already wired this thing with a wire brush. Right, that's really a huge thing like this. Still matching television. I can even get a Katy Perry in my playlist. Well, my hands weren't utterly filthy. I might skip it, but at the same time, this was quite big in the early 2000s. Yeah. Okay. Right. Okay. There's almost a nostalgia element, I guess. So this terrible music. I think that, All right. I may not end up doing this wall if I do this, right? We'll see. I think I may need to lift the camera so that you can see what I'm doing, because this is going to take a bit longer than what I thought it would. Right. Okay. Right. Yeah, this damn fucking. Yes. Right. Okay. Right. There. Right. Now what I'm going to do, I don't know if this is going to work. Let's see. If I lift this, put that on there. Right. Maybe you can see what I see. What I will need to do is just bring the whole setup a bit close up. Okay, right. Oh, right, well, nearly lost the laptop there. Right, there we go, let's see. Maybe that'll work, let's see.
If it doesn't, it doesn't. Right. Okay. All right. Move it over there. Yeah. I need to grab to this cement. Right. Okay. Now, I don't know if you can see what I want you to see. Right. But if you can, awesome. Oops. Take me home today when skies are burning. See this, we're still losing bits of stuff up here. Oh God. I mean, this is a huge amount of cement that's going here. Right. Oh, fuck off. Damn it. Right. Ah, ha ha ha. Stone under my nail there, that was unpleasant. Right. Okay, shall we head back up? Right. Okay. I'm just trying to just see it get done is right. So this is once again, trying to get this stuff under the windowsill. Right. Because I mean, this whole thing was just like the whole thing just came out when I was trying to get the tiles off. Right. So what I'll do is I'll shove cement under here. Right. Use my hands for now just to really pack it in. Right. We'll level it out a bit as we go. Right. What about the marks on the walls? I have this concrete cleaner that I found when I was getting all of this stuff that was suggested I get for this very reason, right? I used to get one of those corner things there. Right. Yeah, as I said, a DDIY, how to not do it yourself. Right. But, yeah, amateurs, right? We're trying to figure out where we can. As I'm not building a structural wall, I'm not afraid of this whole bloody thing falling in on me. Well, I'm sleeping, and even if it does, it's not going to kill anybody. Well, because I'm taking crap, but you can see the rest of the window is still fine. All right, okay. So let's shove it in there. Right. Okay. Right. Let's move that in there. Right. Now. Yeah. I really do think I am going to be one of those corner things. Yeah, to try and create a flat corner. Oh, rats. Right. Okay. Come on. I'm going to wash this camera a bit, as you see. So as you can see, built something here, right? Okay. Now, obviously there are parts where it hasn't quite flattened up, right? So we're gonna squish that in there. Right, remember, this is all going into tiles, right? Otherwise, I would be leaving some of it to create a bit of plaster over the top. Right. Still on top of the trowel. Come on. Off. Nice what we've got. Okay. Right. Yeah, this is definitely not the last layer that will go on here. So, what I need to kind of do is compared to what it was, no, an amateur job. And I stress that. I'm actually not happy with that. I've got a bit more there. pull some of the stuff that has fallen, because we can still use that. Right. All right. Mix this up. There. Well, I'm really not unhappy with that hair. Let's keep a little bit of space there. Right. Yeah. Yeah, look at that. That's all the smell we got. It was not intended to do that, but pretty well has not. And I think it's actually come out quite nicely. Obviously, it will be tiled, as I said repeatedly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the lines in it to give it the tile that needs to some grip. Right. So yeah, I'm actually not at all happy with that. What we'll do, let me grab a level. We'll see how well we've done in terms of level, that is, right here. Well, actually, look at that. Not quite perfect. I mean, that's good. That's not quite. Okay, so what we've got is a bit of sink in that direction, right? So what if we do a little bit of kind of put it this way, right? What we're trying to do is just go over there, over in this direction, right? Just to give it just a little bit of stuff that we can put on here, right? Just a little bit. Right. Right. We'll just see how, so I don't expect that to make too much difference. Yeah, still a little bit conky. But that is good. Like, I mean, it's all kind of within line, right? So that once over, right? Okay. And then we'll add those tile adhesive lines back so that we can tile it. Because actually, I think that has come out very nicely. I think we can probably manage that. All right. And that is it. I'm going to clean all the tools off. You don't need to wash that. Oh, you're upside down. Look at that. Right. And yeah, what is the time now? It's 20 to 4, so it's taken about an hour and 40 minutes. But you know, from what I'm happy with, I mean, I'm happy with that patch. I'm happy with that patch there. And yeah, I've built that in there. I mean, obviously there's some patches still to fix up on the wall, and we've got to get in there. But I think for today, I'm happy where we've gone so far. It's a little stone there, right? Okay. But yeah, I'm actually very happy with how we've achieved today. All right, cool guys. Obviously you don't have to watch this whole thing. If you do, thank you. But I will be taking these live things and cutting them into something that's a bit more palatable. All right, be safe. And remember, don't do it yourself.